takes a massive mental effort for me to do the intro in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, today I'm going to be doing a video. I'm going to be going through my music library, and I put it on shuffle, and I'm not going to play any of the songs. I'm just going to talk about the songs because like I've said before, I really like rambled videos. Like, for me, the rambles is really what does it. Like, the quality is just if I'm enjoying it, the person's stream of consciousness, I find that really relaxing more than anything else. Like, the sounds can add to it or take away from it, but really the rambles do the most for me. So hopefully the effect I'm going for here is a little bit of white noise, because I am driving, and yeah, hopefully it's relaxing and not terrible, but I feel like it'll be good. Yeah, so what I'm doing, I'm driving to the store, and yeah, you're just gonna be here with me, and I'm gonna ramble about my music, because I feel like I do this fairly often for either for people or in my head. When I'm listening to a song, I'm like, oh my god, this song, or I'll be telling someone like, oh my god, this song for me like is like this. So I feel like it's just something that I do well, or it's something that I certainly do a lot. So much practice, and yeah. So let's just get into it. And the first one is, well, I just put my library on shuffle, so really it's going to be out of my control, and I hope nothing too silly comes up, because I have committed myself to going through and not skipping any and not hiding any. So the first one that comes up is Life of the Party by Kanye West and Andre 3000, and that one, well, the first thing that comes up now for me anytime a Kanye West song comes on is just like, it's obvious, isn't it? He's anti-Semitic, and it's not only that, but he's had his whole score of issues throughout his whole the past 10-12 years, and most of the time I was able to just be like, oh yeah, he's just crazy. But I think where it started to just get to me a little bit was the MAGA hat, and then and followed immediately by anti-Semitism. Was just like, I never thought that Kanye West would become alt-right, but he did for a while, and I don't think that he is even alt-right right now, or ever ever shares a lot of opinions, because I've seen videos of him interacting with alt-right influencers, or people from that, neo-Nazis coming up to him like, I think you're my hero, and he definitely still is. He gets the ick from them, but what he doesn't understand is that he's exactly saying all the same things that they are. At least he did for a while, and I get that he said a lot, which I think is his only defense, is that he's basically said everything that a human could ever say. So, but yeah, just really, that's the first thing that comes to mind to me when I see any Kanye West song now. It just is a little bit, it's pretty tainted. I can still go for some of the older Kanye stuff, because it feels like it's a little more pure, but even that has a little caveat of being like it just feels dated to me at this point. So there's only a few Kanye West songs I can really still enjoy wholeheartedly, without having to think about all his problems, which is really sad, because I think he is a good artist, but just, he used to be super big for me, but it's just sad what's happened, and I feel like that's everybody's experience with Kanye, which is just, he's such a sad character too. People get invested in him, And like that's been throughout his whole career. Like even people before I was born, or before I was even knew, or I even knew about Kanye, they'd just be invested in him. Like they liked his first 3 albums. Like they grew up, like they were listening to him as he was coming out, and then he just kind of broke their hearts. And I've seen a lot of that, and it just depends on really when he breaks your heart, and he will do it after a while. So because he's not stable, he really isn't. But I mean, I think it all comes, I mean, he said everything I'm not makes me everything I am. So I really think all of it is it's just how he is. And like, it's not great, but sometimes it made some good songs, some good moments, a lot of bad moments. I mean, he's a really famous person with a serious mental illness. So yeah, that's unfortunately not the greatest or most uplifting start. So let's see what we can get next. Okay, all right. So, well, I had to act surprised, but I did know that this one was coming, just because I skipped to see if I could skip my songs without while I'm recording without any issues. So Half and Half by Playboi Carti is well, I don't know, I've waned again. I don't mean to just shit on my whole music library, but again, I've waned a bit on Carti. Like, he was super crazy to me when he came out, just because his style. I also hadn't been too into like any of the rappers that have done stuff kind of like Carti, like Young Thug. I wasn't like super into Young Thug when I found, or when Playboi Carti was like in front of me, and I started seeing it a lot. So he was kind of the first time I'd experienced any of that, more mumble rappy, more lyrical, a lot of stuff with the voice, but also what did it for me, I think, with Playboi Carti is Pierre Bourne's production on a lot of his songs is just so crazy. And I think I've definitely moved to more of being a Pierre fan than a Carti fan, but he still was really crazy for me. And this song, you know, it has its moments. I still wouldn't be against putting this on while I'm at a little kickback or something, while everybody's talking, pouring drinks. It's a good song. It's got the vibe, half and half. You know, fill it up halfway with your mixer, fill it up halfway with your. At least that's how I see it. I mean, there's a lot more going on with the song. Well, not that much. Let's not be one of those people who's gonna say Playboi Carti has everything going on. Because on this song, it's certainly not. On some songs, I do think he is deeper than people give him credit, but not on this one. So yeah, that is half and half. It's just got a really, like, it makes me feel like I'm underwater, and also I'm a badass underwater. Like, so basically like the perfect drunk song, perfect drinking song. At least if you want to be like chill drunk or like feel good drunk. So yeah, that's that one. Okay, so here we have a little bit of a switch, a little bit of wrench in the plan. We've got me and Bobby, at least so far with what you've seen. So whatever idea you have in your head of the music that I listen to. But so up next we've got Me and Bobby McGee by Chris Christopherson. Me and Bobby McGee. I don't know how much I mumbled there, but yeah, it's. I think this is just your classic country song. Like, a lot of people will say that they hate country, and in large part, I do agree with that. I think that modern country has become, just as modern rap has, a little bit more commercialized. But modern rappers are at least rapping about being like rebels, whereas modern country artists seem to be talking about, you know, stuff that is less exciting to me. Like the commercial side of modern country is very very Christian, very like truck based, gun based, well, which rap is also gun based a lot of the time, but like, I don't know, there's just a certain vibe to it that isn't as exciting to me. But yeah, you could apply all the same criticisms to like Drake and everything around Drake and other artists like that. 21 Savage, fairly commercial these days. A lot of artists like that. So yeah, but Me and Bobby McGee is your perfect song for just, I don't know. Chris Christopherson does have a very melancholic vibe, but I don't find it depressing. Like, I just find it a little bit uplifting, kind of like blues. It's got a little bit of a blues vibe, where it's like, you know, it's just supposed to be there for you to just lift your spirits when you're down, because not everything's always going to be happy. And he's like a breakup country artist, which a lot of these guys back then were, or had songs of that nature. So yeah, now let's see what's next. Oh boy. Okay, we've got Face Card by Glock 40 Spaz. So Glock 40 Spaz, I'm sure nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about, and if you do, I'm afraid of you, because Glock 40 Spaz scares me, but like his lyrics scare me. Like, I've been listening to rap for a long time, and there's not a lot of stuff that I think actually feels violent to me, like in the way that people describe. Like on the news, they'll be like, rap is so violent. Like, I don't really feel the violence in a lot of mainstream rap. Like, I just can't take it seriously when Drake says shoot him in daylight. Like, I don't feel threatened by that, or scared that that's actually going to happen. But the Glock 40 Spaz, seems like a dangerous character, kind of like when YMW Melly had his mixed personality stuff. Like, I did get the sense that he was dangerous. So I wouldn't be surprised if Glock 40 Spaz gets brought up on charges in the near future. But he has a crazy flow, and just his voice is really, I really enjoy when rappers have a bit of an accent, and it takes me a while. Like, part of the fun for me is trying to figure out what they're saying. It's like I'm reading Shakespeare, and I'm trying to decipher, or reading Old English, or any language, any difficult language. I feel like I enjoy that a lot, especially if it sounds good. And he has crazy production as well. Yeah, but nothing. I'm not the biggest Glock 40 Spaz stan, but certainly an interesting artist, and I get a kick out of it a good amount of the time. So it does also help me, like when I have a headache at 5 a.m. in the morning when I wake up. If I play Glock 40 Spaz, for some reason, although it is very brutal and not calming, it will alleviate my headache. So yeah, it's kind of my application of this song or this artist. But really, not this song, not Face Card, but Ace of Spades by Glock 40 Spaz. That one, I don't think, that has a vibe that I don't think many other songs can recreate. So yeah. Okay, back to country. After Glock 40 Spaz, we go to a song that most people probably know. Is Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. So your standard Johnny Cash song. He's a little bit depressed. He's done some bad things. Johnny Cash always in his music has the sinner energy. He's not he's not a good guy, or he'll talk about killing people, or drinking, or cheating, or wanting to run away, or how he doesn't love you anymore, or how you're gonna regret this, or he's just a little bit of on the devilish side of things. And yeah, he's got that great guitar sound, the walking, I think they're called walking bass lines, but I could be wrong about that, who knows. Yeah, so a little moment from that, because just me talking about music for that long makes me feel a little bit self-conscious. Like I start to feel like Anthony Fantano, and I don't really like people who view music that seriously. So like or like think you can describe music that objectively. Like you can describe aspects, but really it's just a feeling. So like it's just a feeling that it gives you, and you could try and break it down and put it to a science and be like, well, here he's doing this and here he's doing that, and I like that and I don't like that. But sometimes it's just the way that it all mixes together, and I feel like it's very hard for that to be put into words, and a lot of the time it's just so it bothers me when people do that. So I'm starting to feel like that character, or that type of person. Not to call Anthony Fantano a character, he is a human being. So yeah, alright, let's see what's next. Okay, well, here's just another song that probably everybody knows, Paper Planes by Mia, or MIA, I don't know, actually. She does say on the song MIA, it's MIA, Third World Democracy, got more records than the KGB, yeah, so it is MIA. But just the production on this song, where it's like, it has the gunshots in there, all I want to do is yeah, this song, like there's not a lot of pop songs that slap, or I don't even know if this is pop really, but I don't know what genre you put it in. But also genres, don't get me started on how I feel about genres, because like I say, like the content of songs and then like how they sound, like songs that sound the same can have completely different content. Like sure, Johnny Cash is like country, like by the sound, like he has guitars and drum and a lot of stuff that is very country. Like if you listen to it, you're like, oh, this is country music. But a lot of the stuff he's saying is he's talking about killing people. Like that would be more like with you know, violent stuff, like rap, like you know. So, but not all rap is violent. So there, like again, it just like it becomes difficult. I don't like genres as much as I like just really just song by song and artist by artist, and just the general feeling that it gives you, and what they're talking about also. But obviously how it sounds is also a good way to categorize it, but I don't think it's the only way. So whatever you want to call Paper Planes, but songs like this, like of a similar vibe and a similar energy, just generally they don't slap. But this one, or at least for me, but this one and stuff like MGMT stuff, like I don't think anybody can really hate, aside from the fact that it is overplayed. But as I've gotten older and older, I realized that there's not that much great music. So even if a good song does happen to get overplayed, I don't really give a shit anymore. Like I used to be like, I can't listen to this, it's too much, it's too overplayed. But I'm not so concerned about being niche anymore as I am just with having good sounds in my ears when I'm listening to music. And I'm not going to deny myself good sounds just because the song is quote unquote overplayed. So up next, Ivy by Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, see, now there's a guy like Kanye, I have trouble standing for, and the rest of these artists, like I'm not really too personally invested. Like I'm not a fan. Like I wouldn't call myself, I mean I like Johnny Cash, but I wouldn't call myself a Johnny Cash fan, because he's kind of before my time, and I never really know or saw him act as a person much. And but I mean I don't think I dislike him, or I don't feel as scared of playing him or thinking about him as I do about Kanye. But just Frank Ocean is just a god for me, and you know, he's like both of his albums, and this unreleased stuff, like his, I guess, pre-albums, I don't know what you would call those, mixtapes, I guess, is one word, but that seems to be mostly for rap and not so much R&B or whatever Frank Ocean is, alternative. But yeah, Ivy by Frank Ocean. Every Frank Ocean song is just so good to me. I guess right now, like through all my years, like the craziest ones are probably Pink and White, which is fairly basic, but like Pink and White is just kind of undefeated in terms of like not being too depressing. His lyricism is crazy, the sound is crazy. Like Pink and White is just undefeatable as a song. I think if I was making like a best songs list, even though like I think ranking is lame, like I wouldn't even, if I did make a best songs list, it would be like best or most 100 very, or I wouldn't even put like an arbitrary number on it. I'd be like, I just add all the songs that I think are unbelievably unique and special, and there's just nothing you can compare it to, and like putting it above or below something else is like pointless. Like you could say that Ivy by Frank Ocean is worse than, I don't know, say Blowing in the Wind by Bob Dylan, but like comparing songs like that is just, to me, like pointless, because they're both just so good. Like what are you even comparing at that point? Like you're just kind of guessing, and like that feeling will change for you, even which one you think is better or worse, just based on your own current emotions and whatnot. But yeah, Ivy by Frank Ocean, legendary album. Blonde, like every time I listen to the album, I'm like, this is the best album I've ever listened to. And I felt that way for a good 4 years now, every time I listen to it, which is very rare, so I know it's very good, because like I do go through the habit of listening to albums and being like, this is the best thing ever for like a month, and then I'm like, okay, I see now what my appeal with it was, but it's not as good as I thought, or it's not as big to me anymore. But yeah, this album, Blonde, is just crazy, and this is the first song on Blonde, so yeah, I could probably go pretty far into it. What is it? I thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing. I had no chance to prepare. I couldn't see you coming. The start of nothing. I had no chance to prepare. I couldn't see you coming. I think I'm missing something, but you can hit me now. It's quite alright to hit me now. Yeah. So, this shit, yeah, it's fire. Undefeatable. But yeah, off this album, even bigger for me is like Pink and White and White Ferrari, but that one's a little sad. But just the ending of White Ferrari is kind of permanently gonna be one of my favorites ever. And then, like, I don't know, just those are the big ones, because I feel like if I say one more, I'll say something that isn't really like that. I just like it, but those two. So, yeah. Okay, actually down a similar, at least for me, when I like play my music, this is in a similar space in my brain, but Forever by Clairo is, if you don't know about Clairo, I feel like most people do, but I don't know, because sometimes I'll say an artist to somebody that I think a lot of people know and they won't know it, and like, I know that just makes me look like really nerdy, or really like disconnected. So yeah, who knows? But if you don't know Clairo, definitely should give her a listen. I remember the first time, I will never forget the first time I heard Clairo, or really any of these artists, like even Cardi or Kanye or Block 40 Spaz. Like I can remember exactly the moment where I first heard them. I guess it would be cool to go through that. Like with Kanye, well, Kanye was he's just everywhere. So like, I remember the first time I really connected with Kanye New Slaves off Yeezus came on the radio during like in somewhere in middle school. Not on the radio, someone must have played it, but see there the memory gets foggy, so that's a bad example. But Kanye is difficult because Kanye just seems to be ever present. It's kind of hard or impossible to avoid hearing Kanye music or seeing it, especially a few years ago when he was less problematic. And yeah, then what was the second one? The second song, oh yeah, it was Half and Half. Playboi Carti. I mean, I remember they would play Woke Up Like This at like my high school assemblies, and Woke Up Like This is awesome. But the first time I think I really connected, like I really became indoctrinated by the cult of Playboi Carti was when I listened to Control off of it. Was pretty late. I hopped on the train very late, I think. But I mean, as a full-on fan, like I knew about him, but yeah, when Control off Whole Lotta Red, when I listened to that album and I heard that song, I was like, this is it. This guy maybe a little bit smarter than he lets on, and this music may be worthwhile, and not just what I thought it was before, which is just really, really silly stuff with not much substance. But what was after that? Oh boy, Chris Christopherson's gonna be a tough one to pull out, just because for me, like, my dad plays a lot of country music, so that's probably way in my youth before my memories are very strong. But Glock 40 Spaz, I was driving in the car with one of my friends and he played him, and it was, what was it, Bad Man was the song, and I just remember I had to ask, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the meme with the ant, where the ant is, where it's like how it feels to ask what is the name of this song, and the ant is like, it's like that impoverished ant with the sack over his shoulder. But yeah, but I had to ask because it was just too crazy. And yeah, that was the first time of that. And then what did I just have? Oh yeah, Frank Ocean. For me, honestly, Frank Ocean, like, he was around, similar to kind of Playboi Carti, but I was never really fully sold until I just listened to Blonde, because everybody loves this album and everybody talks about it like how I talk about it. And so I just listened to it once and I was like, okay, I don't get it. And then I listened to it again like a week later, and then for some reason it sounded completely different, and I extremely got it, and I listened to it really religiously that year. And I had a lot of experiences tied to it, so, but a little bit less specific with the first time there. And then Claro, though, I remember exactly when I heard it. I was at a house party, and I was sitting near the speaker. I was just really fucked up, and I was sitting near the speaker, and you know, the music was okay, but I was like, but then Sophia by Claro came on. I don't know who played that at a house party, but whoever did is a legend. And I just remember the way that it sounded was the craziest thing ever. Like, it felt like I was in like Candyland. Like, oh my god, it was just so sweet. And I was in a fairly like I had just been through like a breakup, so I was in a very vulnerable state to Claro's specific brand, but it just hit me, and yeah. So if you haven't listened to Clairo, I mean, Sophia is crazy, but I think her best song is Bags. And I'm comfortable in saying that, unlike a lot of the other superlatives that I give out. But yeah, but Forever is good too. It's one of her earlier things, so it's always nice to see like how I always enjoy that, how like when an artist is just like blossoming, they'll like release singles, and most of the time all their singles are really good. Like there's a few misses in the singles, but they're just trying to make a name for themselves releasing singles, and then you get their first album. But I do kind of enjoy that little period of like awkwardness, and sometimes you get some different sounds that they might not have put on their albums, because albums are a lot more like cohesive in terms of sound. Like they won't jump around too much, but with the singles you can kind of just do whatever. So yeah. Alright, another Frank Ocean song, Swim Good, so won't go too crazy on that because I already talked about Frank Ocean enough. But another single, I don't know exactly the timing of this. I still think this is later on in his career, but I'm not sure. Okay, here's one. After Party by Don Toliver. Also from a similar time, like I was super into Don Toliver's first album, his first solo album, Heaven or Hell. And I really do think it's still his best album. Like I've listened to all his other albums that have come out since, and I would still consider myself a fan. But like when he first came out, he had that benefit of, he had a pretty unique style, and I just really liked it. And then, you know, obviously I listened to that a lot, and then so his later albums, even if he was to keep the same level, it would be less awesome to me. And I think that is in large part what's happened, is that he's kept the same level, but I've gotten more attuned to what he does, so it's not as exciting. But this first album was really crazy to me, especially Had Enough. That song, I had the window open. I hope that was adding pleasurable white noise. But yeah, the first one, obviously No Idea was the first one I ever heard, but Had Enough was really crazy. I listened to that a lot, and really the whole album I listened to a lot. But After Party certainly is one of the bigger ones, and No Photos was probably number 2 after that. But yeah, this album, similar time, honestly. I was listening to Clairo and Don Toliver. Like one day I would listen to this for my whole car ride, or my whole music listening, and then the next day I would just listen to all Clairo. So I don't know what was happening there, but certainly interesting. So Your Eyes, actually, by Destroy Lonely. And this is a song I'll still stand by, and I honestly think is one of Destroy Lonely's better songs, because or more, at least if I wanted to show somebody, I don't know, I honestly don't know. I'm not very good at putting people on to artists, like knowing what song is most generally appealing. Like if you have no idea and you're not really attuned to the sound and you don't already like it, I don't know how to get people to like it. Like I don't know what that first song is, but I feel like this one for me, if I had to say, is one of his better songs, just because like I really did like this. Like Destroy Lonely was huge for me as he came out. Like well, I say he came out, but I'm sure people have known him for much longer than just when he released his first album on Apple Music, because most of these rappers have like extensive mixtapes and unreleased stuff. But so when he came out with NS Plus Ultra, I was super into him, just because again he has a unique style, and a similar thing happened to me with him that happened with Don Toliver. I think like slowly it wanes, like you get used to it, especially when you listen to it as much as I did. Your brain stops getting excited by it because you're like, oh, I get it. And then you start to realize that he does a lot of it. Like, I feel like he uses, like, just talks about the same thing a lot. And there's not a lot more there than just cool flows and cool sounds, cool beats. And like, but the lyricism isn't like too elevated, but it's still good. But it's not anything super crazy. Very rarely does he do anything that I think like actually is deep. And on this song, I feel like he does manage to do that a lot. So yeah, Destroy Lonely. But see here, and this is kind of where I started falling off of Cardi, is when he signed Destroy Lonely and Ken Carson to his label. I started listening to them a lot more than him, which I feel like is a fairly crazy thing. Like, not most people, that's not how most people responded to these two, but I really like them. And most people take them as like jokes, but I think they take themselves as jokes. So that's, if you think you're hurting their feelings, I don't know. But yeah, this song is really good. Your Eyes, Destroy Lonely, off of his second album, which I did not think was as good as his first, but I think that's mainly just because I was used to his style and sound and whatnot. Okay, I actually do like this song. See, here's one. See, this is what I mean. This is the type of thing that, like, most of Destroy Lonely's music, to me, is lacking. Like, obviously, what people find deep is different. And so just to me, from my subjective point of view, Destroy Lonely's music is not as deep as some other rap songs, like for example this 37th by Brockhampton off of their last album, I believe. I don't think they've dropped again. I think this was their breakup album. Not a breakup album, but the group broke up. And Brockhampton is, see, here's another thing with Kanye West that's like, can you really, like, how much can I, like, he's just so tied to everything, it seems like, in music and just in culture. Like, he has too many notable moments that are either, like, I find either good or bad, but this is certainly interesting. Like, Brockhampton decided to band together and try to make music in the comment section of a Kanye tweet. And Brockhampton is a really great group in their own right, and they've made a lot of good music. And it's possible that they would never even exist if they hadn't found each other under under a Kanye tweet. So yeah, but it's not a defense of Kanye, just he's just so prevalent. Like, I find it very difficult to erase him from my mind, as some people seem to have done. But every time I just think it's sad that someone who had so much influence just kind of crumbled like that. And yeah, obviously he's still rich, and there's people with bigger problems, but it's still sad. Yeah. So 37th by Brockhampton. This is kind of like this is a depressing song. And it just sounds, honestly, he sounds like old Kanye on this song, which I think is why I like it so much. It sounds like Graduation Kanye, which I don't even like Graduation that much in terms of his discography, but yeah, Brockhampton, 37th Street just kind of sounds like that, and it sounds like one of the better songs off that album. Like, if this was on that album, I would put it very high, which is crazy because people love Graduation. Like, that's the meme with it, or like with the whole Kanye West drama, is like that his defenders will be like, but he made Graduation, with the context or the meaning being that Graduation is so good that it excuses being a Nazi, which I don't believe in. But like, the fact that people make that meme just shows how much people like Graduation. And the fact that this song, if I put it on that album, I would rate it as one of the better songs. Yeah, it's very. I just like this song. And then Flashing Lights off Graduation. Would I put 37th over Flashing Lights? I don't think so. This is not one of the ones that goes under it, because Kanye's, I don't know, the last verse on this song is crazy. I do remember I just know that when I heard this verse for the first time, it was such a great experience. Like, I was fully immersed. I was so happy. I was like, wait, this is crazy. Yeah. Where he's like, you in my past, you on the other side of the glass of my memories museum. Come home on first class with the seat back. I still see you. Yeah. I haven't, like I say, the whole anti-Semitism has killed my fandom a little bit, but that verse, if you know what I'm talking about, just goes insane. Very nostalgic. Again, similar vibe to 37th. Another Don Toliver song, Ultraviolet by, oh boy, I never know how to say this guy's name. I asked somebody how to pronounce it before, but I forgot. So just Ultraviolet, not the Lana Del Rey song, but if you're interested, it's off the album Clairvoyance, and it's by that underground rapper that's got a lot of letters in his name and no spaces. He's from Louisiana, so it's like got the X in it, and it's just too much for me because I'm never good at reading names. Like, when I would read books as a kid, I would not learn the names of any of the characters unless their name was like Bob. But like in like fantasy books, like where it gets crazy, like Gildriel or some shit, like I would just be like, okay, it's the guy with, it's the elf, or it's the dwarf, or like I would not bother learning their names. I couldn't. Like, when I read The Hobbit, no clue. Any of the dwarves, like if it wasn't Thorin or Bilbo, don't know the names. Even though I read that book like twice, so yeah. But this song, just your, I feel like just a regular old. I mean, I don't think it's underground, but like in terms of the greater scene of rap, it's certainly an underground rap song. Like, I don't think it's unknown. I just think if you had to categorize it, it would be that. Same thing by King Carson. I don't even remember what this song fucking sounds like. I just added this whole album extended because, again, similar to my path with Destroy Lonely, a little bit less of a fall off though, I think. Like, for me, I thought King Carson was cooked. I thought he was done. I thought he was over. Like, after he released Extended, because I thought he couldn't like level up, and I thought Destroy Lonely was honestly the one with more potential. And then they both released their second album around the same time, and Great Chaos was just so much better for me than If Looks Could Kill. Although If Looks Could Kill was still pretty strong. Like Chris Paul, like it's not a miss, but certainly now, maybe it's just recency bias, but King Carson, I feel way more strongly in support of King Carson than I do of Destroy Lonely. But this is not one of the songs that I feel any particular way about. I just added the whole album. I know it's got like bells at the start, but I really couldn't describe it too well. Out West by Jack Boys by Travis Scott. Really, well, it's just your hype song. The lyrics are absolutely rancid. As Young Thug sometimes tends to do. I say rancid, but I don't find that especially bad. Like, it's just a vibe. Sometimes you're on that rancid vibe. But the beat, Buddha did bless this beat, I must say. Buddha blessed this beat. Yeah, so that's this song. let's see if we can get some. See, here's a Ken Carson song that I do know. Jennifer's Body, off of Great Chaos. It's not the first song, I don't think. I think Green Room, but it's one of the first songs. And this song, I also, in my head, I have some dude made his like little sister rap the words, like rap this song, and she snapped. I won't lie, she snapped. So I have listened to the little sister cover of Jennifer's Body a few times, not too many times, but similar. What else is like that? I'm a freaky girl. That song right now that's going around. I'm a freaky girl, or whatever it is. I don't know what it's called even. But that one I've listened to a few times. It's like my, well, I'm not even guilty about it because it's just music. But like, I wouldn't go around telling people that I listen to the girl cover. Like, that would not be my first impression. If I was like, hey, this is my name. Here we go. I'm Gray ASMR. Let me fully get into my persona. I'm Gray ASMR, and one thing you should know about me is that I listen to the girl cover of Jennifer's Body by Ken Carson, because for most people that just sounds like gibberish. So yeah. Deceiver by Chris Lake. This is just like one of the only house songs I have, but it's because when I worked at one of the jobs I worked, one of the managers would just play house 24/7, and I didn't really, I don't think I've ever really liked house too much, but I remember this song energized me. Out of the countless shifts of just listening to house music, this was the only one that really slapped. So yeah, Deceiver by Chris Lake and Green something, but it does go hard. Very energizing, as I'm sure is the point of house music. We're at 47 minutes, that's good. And I'm sure you're wondering, why haven't you hit the store yet? Well, it's a bit of a drive, so yeah. Well, if you go back and watch my last video, I explained the whole thing. And the last video does have a content warning, but that's just because I talk about some stuff that's just not for kids. Like, I don't want kids, like, I don't want people, I just don't like, the content warning is there to scare, like, just to warn people who may be scared by a content warning. So if you are scared by content warnings, like, I'm not talking about anything too crazy, nothing too bad, but just a little bit further than what I'm talking about here. Nothing like super vulgar or disgusting, but I just put it there to keep anybody off of it that's not, that is going to be a little bit sketched out by that, which I think is the point of a content warning, so yeah. But I explain on there, and yeah, if you're not in any way feeling uncomfortable by listening to me talk here, or feeling jarred in any way, or disturbed by me talking here, you will probably have no issues watching that last video. I just do get a little bit more, there's a little bit more in it. Skeleton Tiger by Tame Impala. It was only a matter of time before Tame Impala's song came on, but I just really I think he's a great musician. Like, he does all his own production, plays all the instruments. Average Tame Impala fan will tell you this. All these things are repeated every day by every Tame Impala fan. As they wake up in the morning, they're like, I love Tame Impala, he plays all the instruments, and he does his own production. That's the mantra, but it really is special, even though it is overstated. It's still crazy. Like, it doesn't take away from how crazy this is. Yeah, and he's just, all his songs have great vibes, and they're just good to listen to. And I think what he does really well as well is he matches the sounds that are happening in the song to the words really well. One of the crazier examples is like Love Paranoia. Like even the title is Love line Paranoia. So like then the song goes through like he's in love and then he's paranoid and then he's in love again and then he's paranoid again and he's in love, and like the track keeps changing, like the instrumental keeps shifting between those two vibes. So yeah. This one I almost skipped it because there's no, but Fellas in Paris, you know, have to have it, but that's all I'll say. I don't think anybody needs an explanation. Ophelia by the Lumineers, another song that just needs I don't think needs much explanation. I feel like it's one of the better known alternative anthems. It's just a good song. I don't know. I don't have too much about the Lumineers. I'm not that deep into it. The Plan by Travis Scott from the Tenet soundtrack. I really like Tenet, the movie. I like all Christopher Nolan movies. I'm a Nolan head. I'm a Nolanite, whatever you want to call me. Typical white male Nolanite, but I like all the movies. I think Tenet was even really good. I don't understand why it flopped. I mean, I understand why it flopped, but I don't think it deserves the hate it got. I even saw a video today or on YouTube, a thumbnail that said Tenet is an underrated masterpiece, or Tenet is a masterpiece, and it was 18 minutes long. So I know I'm not alone in my opinion that I think Tenet is pretty good. I don't know if it's a masterpiece. Actually, Tenet was really good. Yeah, I'd call it a masterpiece. Why not? But yeah, that's where The Plan is from. Headlines by Drake. Drake is now officially, I mean, I always had a feeling that there was something up with Drake's sexual, like he definitely seemed like he would be on the Epstein list always, but he just, like, wow, that sounds so bad, but his songs, some of them are, yeah. But if you go back and listen, like his lyrics were always weird. Like, there's the one where he's like, even had sexual relations with a girl I used to babysit, or they used to babysit. So again, that could be either way. Like I always lean to the side of, like, because there was no proof. There was nobody really saying that Drake was a pedophile outside of, like, you know, I mean, most celebrities get crazy allegations. So, outside of a very small group of, like, people who say that everybody is a pedophile, like they say everybody in Hollywood's a pedophile, the Jenners are skinwalkers, Hillary Clinton is a lizard person. So that's the only people who are really strongly touting the Drake pedophile narrative, but now it's become a little bit more substantiated, and also the stuff where he like tried to hide a son. Just every Drake beef has just kind of brought him down notches, because I don't think he's a good person. I really don't think he's a good person at all. But Headlines is a song that no matter what Drake does, I think I'll still listen to and just try to not think about the fact that it's Drake saying it, because just some of the stuff is so good. Like, I always laugh when he's like, somebody told me I fell off, oh, I needed that. I saw like a gangster looking Humpty Dumpty once, like a meme where a gangster looking Humpty Dumpty is like smoking a stogie and sitting on a wall, and it's like, somebody told me I fell off, oh, I needed that. And that's exactly the vibe. I feel like gangster Humpty Dumpty smoking a stogie when I listen to this song. So yeah, it's just unfortunate that it was sang by a pedophile, or rapped saying, Drake is rapper, singer-ish. Okay, now here's Ultraviolence by Lana Del Rey. I think Lana Del Rey has a good sound. I think that's what keeps me to her. Like, her music sounds really good. I don't necessarily think her lyrics are too great. But yeah, her understanding of aesthetics and just like sound and all that, like, is pretty good. there's a reason why she's so big. And this is her biggest song, so I don't feel like it needs that much explanation. But my favorite Lana Del Rey song is Black Beauty. I think that song is really good. Just overall, like, I would put that in that list of like songs that are kind of just undefeatable, legendary, one of one, with Ivy by Frank Ocean, Sativa by Jane Anko, goated smoking song, legendary smoking song, Sativa, just kind of I don't even know, honestly, what this is called, what this genre is, but where, like, there's a lot of, like, high voices singing in harmony over, I don't know, I don't think it's reggae necessarily, but it gives me a similar vibe to reggae. I don't know if that's racist, just because black people do a lot of reggae, and Jane Anko. Jane Aiko. Let me, definitely racist. Jane Aiko is singing it, so and she's also black, so I don't know if that's why I think it sounds like reggae or not, if that's what my unfortunately limited human brain can come up with, but legendary smoking song though. If you're lighting up, I would consider putting on Sativa.